right? As the market shifts, I think things are going to look a lot different even between now and the end of the year and over the next 12 to 18 months than they've looked really in probably the last 5 or 6 years. We're starting to get back to that balanced market that we saw in 2018 and 2019, kind of pre-pandemic. And for a lot of agents, especially agents that might be newer in the business, who have only experienced, the bulk of the last 5 years, things feel a little uneasy or unsettled because you're not sure truly how to act, how to serve your clients, how to serve your buyers. And so as the market shifts, I want to help you guys understand how to remain confident and understand what the market is doing so that you know the right actions to take for your clients. And I think I wanted to start with this for a couple reasons, but I think it's easy in this industry often to just blame everything on the market, right? There's no inventory, there's too many buyers, the rates are too high. But the fact is that every agent in our industry faces the same market, but not every agent shows up the same way. And I want you to remember that, right? The market isn't bad, it's just different. And it's always going to be different. We're never going to be in the same market every quarter, every 6 months, every year, every 5 years. And here are the stats, right? In the last 12 months, 49% of agents sold 1 or 0 houses. So almost 50% of the people out there that are running around saying they're a real estate agent have sold 0 or 1 houses. 70% of them sold 5 or fewer houses. We've all seen this stat that came out from NAR earlier this year, right? But 71% of agents in 2024 didn't close a single house, which means the top 20% of agents are controlling 80 to 90% of the market. So again, that top 20% looked at the market and said, hey, I'm still going to show up. I'm still going to do what I need to. I'm still going to go out there and find business and service my clients. While the bottom 80% said, yep, I'm cool selling 5 or fewer houses. Right? So the opportunity in any given market is out there. It's up to the agents whether or not they want to show up to take that business. And I think that really leads me to the whole purpose of this training is it's all about confidence, right? Confidence in yourself and confidence in your business and confidence in your abilities doesn't come from ignoring the market. You don't become confident by just saying, oh yeah, the market's crazy right now, or inventory's down, or the rates are high. That doesn't make you confident in your expert abilities, right? Confidence comes from understanding the market better than anybody else. When markets shift, right, the agents who understand the shift and understand what's happening, and they're able to communicate that with their clients, are the ones who are selling properties. Right? Those are the agents that know, hey, the market is shifting a little bit from a seller's market to a buyer's market. When this happens, here are where the opportunities lie, and here's how I can have my clients, whether they're buyers or sellers, take advantage of that opportunity to be successful. Right? Well, all the other agents, 70 to 80% of them are running around like a chicken with their head cut off, trying to figure out how to get new listings or trying to figure out how to get their buyers accepted offers. It's the agents who know what's going on and know when the right time to act is. They're the ones selling homes. And so I'm going to give you guys kind of a little skill set here on how to build that confidence within yourself by using the data that the market is telling us to make those better decisions. As we know, right, your clients, your people in your network, your friends, your family, they're hearing about the real estate market everywhere. Right? I think we have a little bit of an interesting industry because people love talking about real estate, whether or not they have any intention of buying or selling a home. And so there's all of these, right, headlines in the news. There's all these national media stories out there about real estate. And so people have kind of a disjointed opinion or understanding of what's actually happening in our market. And so the number one skill I want you guys to master is knowing the narrative. What is happening in your communities? What is happening in the markets you're trying to serve? And then control that story, right? Use data, truth, and your expert perspective to reframe your client's understanding of what's happening in real estate. And so a couple things we often hear, right? Your client will say, hey, rates are too high. You can say back to them, that's what's keeping inventory from flooding the market and why prices haven't dropped. It's actually stabilizing things, right? Clients think that rates being high is just the world's biggest problem, but help them understand why the Fed keeps rates high and how that impacts their local markets, right? Maybe this time of year, you're having clients say, no, we're just going to wait until spring. Help them understand that, right? When spring is when everybody else jumps in. It's what everybody else is saying right now. If you're looking to buy a house, sellers are far more negotiable in fall. And so you'll face less competition and have a better chance at getting a house at advantageous terms to you. And maybe you're talking to sellers and they're saying things like homes aren't selling like they used to, right? And you can explain to them, you're right, homes aren't selling in a matter of days, but the ones that are priced correctly and marketed well still go fast. So let me help you position your property to be one of those that is selling quickly. Right? There's all of these negative talking points out there and all of these objections, but the better you can control the narrative on those, the better you can position yourself to help your seller or your buyer achieve what they actually want to. And so become an expert at controlling the story using, your perspective and actual facts of what's happening. As those of you that know me well know I'm kind of a data geek. But the second skill set I want you to really start to master is data, right? Data is what gives you confidence to speak like the expert that you are. And so I want you to start building in MLS statistics into every listing presentation and buyer consultation you have. Right? Was it last week that we talked about the 10-day cycle of selling? Must have been. Time is flying. But right, understanding with your sellers, this is what's happening with days on market in our, in this community, and here's how we're going to use that to our advantage. Or here are what price trends are doing for buyers. Your clients are going to trust you at a higher level if you speak in facts and not feelings. Right? Anybody can throw out a bunch of stuff, emotionless or emotionful talking points on what they think is happening. But if you can speak in fact and speak in data, your clients are going to trust you that you really are an expert and you do know what you're doing. And so I'm going to challenge you to kind of grow this skill set is to write 1 or 2 sentences that you can use this week in a listing or a buyer presentation that starts with, hey, according to our MLS data, days on market is X, or listing inventory has gone up by 8%, right? Make it specific, relevant, and use it to build your confidence. I gave you an example here, right? Homes priced within 3% of market value are selling 40% faster than those that are priced higher. You can say whatever you want to list your house for, and you'll probably find an agent out there who will slap that listing price on and put a sign in your yard. But my goal as your expert is to show you the data. I know that if we're listing within this window that I'm recommending, your house is going to sell 40% faster. And here's what that looks like for you. And so I think we should do it, list at this price and get off on the right foot. It's so much more impactful and so much more powerful than just letting sellers dictate that conversation. The third skill set, right, and this really comes from building your own confidence, but using your language to show your leadership. Again, your buyers and sellers are hiring you to do a job, right? They're hiring you to represent them in what is one of the biggest financial decisions they're going to make in their lifetime. And so the words that you choose to talk to them about, they signal your authority and they often signal your uncertainty, right? If you walk into an appointment and your client can feel that you have no idea what's going on, right? They're not going to trust you as much. And so this third skill set I really want you to develop is replacing those filler words with language that positions you as the expert. Again, this comes from the first 2 skill sets that we talked about, but if you know what's happening, you know what the market is showing you, you have the data to back you up, and you know what to do about it, the way that you communicate it elevates you above a lot of the other agents in the industry. And so avoid that filler language like, I think the market's doing this, or it seems like homes are selling faster. Maybe we should try, listing at this. And replace those with authority phrases. Hey, what we're seeing in the market is homes listed at this price point are selling in, 5 days or less. Here's what the data tells us. The smart move right now is to do a price reduction while the market is still hot and momentum is on our side. Again, it's creating that impact and that level of expertise that I would say 80% of the agents in our marketplace are not walking around and doing. It's an easy thing to do to elevate yourself above the competition. And right along with language, this fourth skill set is all about your presence, right? We know we've all seen in any area of our lives somebody with terrible body language or energy, and you can feel that before you even hear what they're saying to you. And so the same thing happens with your clients, right? If you're uncertain, if you're nervous, if you're anxious, they feed from that and they feel it. And I can almost certainly guarantee, right? If you're in one of those moods or bad mindsets, the client isn't going to remember what you said to them. They're going to remember how you made them feel. And so if, again, you're not using your confidence and your data and your, general understanding of the market, your clients are going to feel that from you. And so before you walk into any appointment, I want you to do a mirror check. Ask yourself, am I showing calm confidence or am I reflecting the noise that's all around me? Again, your clients are hiring you to do a job. They're hiring you to be the calm confidence in what feels like to a lot of people, kind of a chaotic process. And so your confidence becomes contagious, right? They know, hey, my agent knows what's happening, knows exactly what we need to do, and I am confident that they are going to lead me to success. And so make sure your presence in any situation, right, is giving off the right message. I think I've talked about this before, but I don't know if any of you else have a pump up song that you play in your car before you walk into a big presentation or buyer appointment. But if you don't, I encourage you to get one. It's not easy to be, right, like super high energy, positive, I know everything all day long in this industry. There's often days that we have that are really hard, right? And we are burned out, we're exhausted. We might not feel like we know what's going on, but using a pump up song or, we're in baseball season, so pick out your walk up song and use that to flip your energy when you need to. And so how do we put this skill set into practice? It's not something, right? Confidence isn't developed overnight, but the more you can practice it, the better you're going to become at it. And so I want you to try these 3 things, right? Review the market data. I'm happy to sit down with any of you and help you understand what's going on, how to find it. But pull the MLS stats from your area, right? If you're going into a listing presentation in DeForest, pull the stats for DeForest. What are the inventory levels? What are the days on market? What's the absorption rate? What have comparable houses sold for? And identify 3 facts that you can use in your conversation. Again, you don't want to overwhelm people with data. If you walk into a listing presentation, you just start throwing spreadsheets around and expecting your client to understand them, right? You're going to lose them quicker than if you would have brought nothing with you. But identify a few things that you can use as leverage points to help them understand your position. And then number 2, right? Rewrite one script. And so these are some of the common objections that we hear in the marketplace, right? I'm going to wait until spring, or rates are too high. I'm not sure I want to sell right now. You hear these things over and over and over again from all sorts of clients. And so I can bet that there's not too many new objections that you hear often, but choose one of the most common ones and rewrite that response. Again, using data to back you up, using that authority language, removing the fillers, and your confidence in it. And so the next time you walk into the market and you hear that objection, right, you know right away exactly what you're going to say. And then number 3, we just talked about your presence and your attitude and your, the confidence you give off. And so Before your next appointment, take 60 seconds to just recenter yourself. Check your tone, your posture, your energy. Give yourself a little pep talk, right? Boost yourself up, help you build that confidence within yourself, because you are the only person that can believe in you at 100%. And then walk into that listing appointment or buyer consultation like the true expert that you are. And I know you guys are experts in the field, right? Our agents at Remax Preferred outsell the market almost 2-to-1, and we have for decades. And there's a reason for that. And it's because a lot of this stuff that we've talked about today, right? You're professionals, you do understand what's happening. And so I'm not saying, right, these skill sets, you have none of them, but I think it's a good thing to think about and recenter yourself on, is just a good reminder. And then, right, confidence comes not only in face-to-face interactions, but also what we're sharing on social media and how we're presenting ourselves online. And so you can share that confidence in a social media post, and I'm going to give you a challenge to do so, right? As you're looking through those market stats to put into your listing or your buyer presentation, create a social media post about it, right? Show your sphere and all of your network online that you're the agent that understands what's actually happening in the market. You're not just posting about just sold houses or new listings, but again, giving that market insight that they're not getting from the national media or from, their coworker at the water cooler. And so here's a sample post you could use, right? Hey, across our MLS, inventory is up 8% this month, which is creating more opportunities for buyers. There's more choices, motivated sellers, and less competition, which means we can find you your perfect match before the end of the year. If you want to talk strategy, shoot me a DM. Would happy to let you know what opportunities exist. Post this kind of stuff out there. It's valuable and it helps your network understand that you know what's going on. And that's how trust gets built. And remember this, right? Your confidence is contagious. The agents that are confident in their expertise, in their market, in their understanding of our industry in general, are the ones who are doing the deals right now. They're the ones who are going to put homes under contract between now and the end of the year, because they understand, right? The market is never going to have perfect conditions. But the more that they can perfect understanding what's going on in the market with clarity, backed by data, and expressed with authority, those are the agents that are successful. It's not the agents who walk into an appointment waffling about what to do. They walk in like they own the room, like they own the place, like they know they are going to win the listing because their presence is competent. They understand what's going on, and they understand and fully believe in themselves that they are the right agent for anybody to choose. You're not going to win 100% of the appointments you go on. We all know that. But the better you can carry yourself, the better you can lean in to any uncertainty, lean into any shifting market, and understand and be able to communicate what's going on. I guarantee you're going to win more opportunities. Yeah. Any questions? Who feels confident in this market?
Yeah, I was just going to say this really helped my last 2 listing appointments. So like, I know we all do CMAs, go 6 months back. The last 2, I also did a 30-day snapshot of data to show them that this is what's on the market. This is how many days they've been on the market, and what is sold in the last 30 days. So it was very recent. Both sellers, if they would have gone off the 6-month CMA, wanted to be $5,000 or $10,000 higher because I showed them recent data. They went with my price and said, I trust what you say. You sound like you know what you're talking about. It was really, really helpful because the market is changing all the time. So we need recent data when you're going on these appointments.
Yep.
All good information, Reagan.
Yeah. Confidence starts within yourself, right? If you walk into an appointment confident in what you're able to deliver for your clients, they're going to feel that, they're going to trust that, and they're going to choose that every single day.
Got it.
What I've got. Yeah, be confident, be smart. I believe in you guys. Thank you for showing up today. If you need anything, you know how to get a hold of me, and we'll chat with you soon.
Okay, thanks, Reagan.
Thank you.
Thanks.